here's Brody Brazil.
You know, I just realized in preparation for doing this video that I've yet to do an actual State of the Dodgers offseason video. As in how many new players they have, how many superstars they're getting, how much money they're all signing for, and how much of that money continues to be deferred by the Dodgers organization. It is amazing how they continue to do this in Los Angeles. They're basically putting contracts on a credit card. They'll worry about it and they'll pay it off at some point down the road. Is this bad for baseball? Is this somehow good for the game? There's a lot of conversations and opinions and a little controversy that goes along with this. I have some of my own thoughts and perspectives. I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Some of what I think might actually surprise you, but you know what? We'll definitely save that for a different time down the road. Here and now, I want to talk about actual Dodger Stadium, which is where these players will hopefully take the field on opening day, if and when all of this is ready, by the way. No, I think it will be, but the last time I shared with you some of this video, which, by the way, comes from Vast Sky Media. These are still frames out of respect of Vast Sky Media. I don't want to steal the video. I'll link to their video down below. I just want to show you these images. Last time we saw this, that was a big hole in the ground. And now they've kind of built the roof on top of it. You'd have to think that they're going to pour concrete into there. Eventually, they'll fill in this trench. They'll fill everything in. It'll all be flat. It'll all be one playing surface again. Not only here on the Dodger side, but also the same thing is happening on the visitor side too. Brand new clubhouses. It's been reported that this is all going to cost about $100 million. We still don't know any of the fine details of what exactly is going on down there in these bunkers. We understand it's expanded clubhouses, but there has to be so much more. Maybe batting cages down there, maybe extra workout facilities. Who knows? But it does appear to be 2 stories, the capability of being 2 stories high. I think I also did the math to think that maybe that's about 200 feet by about 45, 50 feet, something like that. So it's a pretty big size and square footage down there. I think I did the math. It was about 8,500 to 10,000 square feet if you add up both sides. But that's one perspective from down the left field line. Here's a little bit closer, and I find all of this infrastructure quite interesting. And I don't know if you can see this. If you're watching this video on a phone, you might want to zoom in. What are all these cables right here? You kind of see this little spaghetti system in there, and I would imagine that's electrical. There could be some data stuff going on there. You see some coils at the very end. Maybe they just haven't gotten to this part of laying out the cables, but is that electrical? It does look like I see some junction boxes in there, which would make sense, right? If this was a row of offices right here, there you'd have the ceiling fixtures. And I'm not in construction. I'm just trying to figure all this out. What exactly is going on here? You'd also have to imagine that from the Dodger clubhouse, like there's going to be an entrance down into the brand new clubhouse in addition to maybe what's already behind the dugout here in the existing facilities. But again, it's interesting to kind of look at this and try and figure it out. We don't really have any precise details. The Dodgers just haven't shared much in the way of renderings or blueprints. I guess they don't have to. Maybe internally this is being passed on, but there's just not a lot to go by here. It's all kind of guesswork, which also makes something like this interesting. And by the way, I don't know if you saw, but on the top of the dugout there, the World Series banners are still out there. It's mid-January. This video is from a couple days ago, by the way. But what is this? Here's another trench. It looks like they're continuing to dig it in this direction with that excavator right there. Is that an excavator? I think it is. Somebody might catch me that I'm wrong on the exact terminology of what that machinery is, but it almost looks like a manhole cover right there behind home plate. What exactly is that circular thing? And then, what is this trench? Why would you need that maybe to connect one side to the other? Certainly if it was just connecting cables or some type of utility, you wouldn't need to dig a trench that wide and that deep. You'd have to think that that is some kind of walking path, maybe stairs to access each side. Maybe they're linked. They want to be linked underground. But I initially had found something that kind of looked like an elevator shaft. I think it was over here. But it kind of looks the same manner as what's going on over there, in that there is something else going on underground, not just the clubhouses on both sides. There is something to link these two. There's some other things going on underground here. Again, all of this is guesswork at this point. So this is the visitor side, the first base side. And what you have to understand about this process, they've said that obviously the field's going to be ready. All this dirt's going to be filled in from this way. I'll show you the big dirt pile in just a second too. But this visitor clubhouse is actually not guaranteed to be ready by opening day. And everybody says, well, what's the visiting team going to do? Well, they'll just use the same visiting clubhouse facilities they always have. It's just that these extra amenities won't be available until sometime down the road. They have to make sure the Dodgers side is good and done by opening day, and then they'll go through all the fixes and whatnot, and then they'll work on building out the interior of whatever is down inside that clubhouse area. But again, it's symmetrical on both sides of the ballpark. Like, they built it out to pretty much those same dimensions that I was telling you about before, probably like 200 feet long and 40-something feet wide. So I doubt it's identical facilities for the home and visiting side, but the space that they're using is identical, at least in terms of like the footprint. The blueprint may not be the same, but the footprint definitely is. So it also looks like on this side, like you can't see any of that wiring going on here, the spaghetti stuff. It appears to me that they're just behind on the first base side. Not that they're not going to finish it. It's just that they're making the third base side and the Dodgers side obviously the priority here to get that done by opening day. Okay, here's a look from down the right field line. Oh my goodness. Look at this volcano of dirt right there. Now, you'd have to imagine that they took out a lot of dirt here and over here originally. And I did see that they were trucking some of that dirt out center field, and then I'll draw over my face here, out kind of by the left field parking lot area. So there is a big mound of dirt. I would guess that all of this is going to be used to just kind of fill in that trench, flatten everything out. But yeah, how cool is that? Like, they literally, is that another excavator? Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. But that digging device is obviously dug kind of a little volcano there in right center field. Again, it's amazing that we're approaching the end of January and they're going to be playing Major League Baseball games here by the end of March. I mean, look at that section up there is missing a bunch of seats. And you'd have to think that from season to season, they do a certain amount of maintenance work no matter what at Dodger Stadium. But this year is a whole different story. I mean, they're doing all this stuff. Plus, I saw them doing some roof work up here too. Plus, all this on the field. That is a major construction site going on there. So again, a look from center field. And what's crazy is by opening day and all summer long, if you didn't see any of these videos and you didn't know any of this was going on, you would never know that all of that right now is taking place. And so the Dodgers on their side and the visitors on their side are going to have a lot more amenities, something brand new, something very spacious with no windows, by the way. It is going to feel probably a little bit like a bunker down there. I guess maybe you just won't know exactly where you're at. They'll probably try and make it nice and open and airy and well lit as they can. But it's definitely going to be underground. A lot of it's going to be actually under fair territory of the playing surface and under the seats. And obviously they have to build a bunch of seats here down both sides. So there appears to be a lot of work remaining to do here, but I have no reservations that, they got a late start on this with the World Series, but this is the Dodgers. They'll do things right. They'll pay everything they need to get it done on time, make it right, make it beautiful. And now I just can't wait to see what's actually on the inside of those spaces. So do you think they'll get it done? Comments down below, your opinions, your thoughts, your predictions on all of this. I bet you that dirt gets filled in within the next, 2 weeks. So then we're in February, and then they'll start rebuilding the field all February. They'll have plenty of time, right? The real work begins once those spaces are created. Then they go down there and build out all the walls and infrastructure down inside. So that's kind of the finished work. But as of right now, it's kind of the foundational work. All right, that's the end of this video. Thanks for making it to the very last seconds. Thumbs up down below. That greatly helps me, this video, and this channel. And one more request, please. If you're not already, make sure to go down there and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. It means I get to definitely see you back here next time.